defending. I think it's like.
Are we live? People deluded, I'm back again. I'm here with Coach Gerald Lami. Just before I let him introduce himself, people, it's my bad we're a few minutes late. Obviously, you lot can't see, but to my left, I've got my monitor where obviously when we're talking, I do my timestamps. But for some reason, it must be the wire. It's not working. So I've been dilly-dallying. But how you doing, my guy? You saying, man? It's been a minute still.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a real minute. Yeah, just busy, man. Just busy coaching. We're up early in the morning grinding as usual. So,
Come on.
Yeah, all good, bro. Can't complain. Arsenal's doing well as well.
Yeah, we can see it in our faces. I can't lie.
How you been, though, bro?
I've been good, man. You know me, just trying to chug along, trying to build what I need to build. You're the same. And yeah, we've been winning games, got my health. Loved ones got their health. Not a damn thing to complain about. Obviously, I hope you can say the same thing. We ain't been here for a minute, bro. And I don't know where to start. Like, I can't lie. Off the top of my head, I don't know the last actual game we spoke about. I know it's been maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks. 3 might be an exaggeration. Yeah. Time flies. So it's like, where would you say?
Was it a Brighton game?
If it's the Brighton game, Brighton, what we got the Palace one, we got Villa, Leeds, Leicester, Watford. So
yeah, we ain't been doing this in a hot minute.
Yeah, man. Something tells me we did the Palace game. Something tells me you're right with the Brighton one. So I'm trying to piece together.
No, I think we've done the Brighton one. We covered the Brighton one, and then I think we spoke about the Palace one, about Vieira coming back.
All right, cool. Let's cast our mind. Obviously, it's a very long time ago. It's going back to October, literally early October. But obviously, it was more of the same after the Brighton game because we drew 2-2. But where was you at considering Palace and Villa in the league starting first?
Yeah, do you know what it is? I think we covered. Remember, we was talking about the upcoming fixtures, and we was talking about where we're going to get our point from.
Oh yeah. That's why I kind of think we've spoken about it. You're right, you know.
We touched a lot on in terms about where we're going to get our points from. And to be fair, since that analysis that we've had, I think considering our concerns at the beginning, for us to be sitting we're 4th, 5th right now.
Yeah, 5th. Yeah. The only problem is it's November, isn't it? Like it's great though.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I've seen a lot of fans, you know, we're excited and so we should be, do you know what I mean? Because it's been a little while since we've had a good momentum, do you know what I mean? But it's still early on. Like you said, it's November. We still got a long way to go. Let's evaluate this maybe like Christmas after the heavy period of fixtures, and let's see where we're at then, and then kind of evaluate the squad.
All right, boom. Let me sorry to cut you. Let me ask you this, yeah. How obviously you kind of touched on it lightly, but how do you evaluate this team? Because I kind of feel I agree with you, but just to play devil's advocate, at what point can we say, okay, cool, they might have turned a corner, they might have unlearned some bad habits, and learned some good habits, and you know, at what point can we consider, you know what, this is a good run, you know, wherever we're saying, is this a new look Arsenal? At what point for you do you stop and say, all right, cool, credit where due? If they are still continuing that, then this is a new look Arsenal in terms of mentality, etc., etc.
End of the season, bro.
True.
That's fair enough. That's when we can judge it. That's when we can say, all right, cool. End of the season, 38 games, cup competitions. How did we get on in that sort of department? At the end of the season, what's our position on the table? I think that's when we can really judge it in terms of where we're at in terms of mentality. Again, it's still a process. It's still a very young team. It still needs time to gel and Arteta to have his influence on the team. So far at the moment, you could see it's like the back four. So it's a whole new back four, to be honest. You know what I mean? So it's going to take time. But yeah, to answer that question, bro, I think we have to say end of the season. We can't judge it after November, say, yeah, they've turned the corner, because there's still glimpses. Like, for instance, just a small mishap from Ramsdale, and he's been immense for us. But that
go with the Spurs one as well.
Spurs one and Watford, that little rush of blood from him coming out and missing it, that could have gone left. Like if King was Canu, he would have put in the top corner.
Even that, if he just got his head up and squared it, it's a new look game. or if we had some sportsmanship. Where are you at with that? Because I kind of touched on that in one of my live streams. I don't want to call it luck, because I think when you work hard, you get the fine margins that go for you. There's been times we've probably been gifted goals and we probably deserve to not walk away with points, with like with Palace and Brighton, and we've walked away with something. I think when you work hard, the harder you work, the luckier you get. There is an element of that, but you kind of indirectly touched on it, and it's something I see. It's like, obviously these boys are young. We have a lot of bad habits. We've got a lot of good habits that we need to learn. But it's like, you look at the Leicester game, I think we defended quite well. And obviously in the Prem, you need to expect an onslaught and have to, defend well. Look at West Ham against Liverpool for large parts of that game. But I look at that Leicester game. You touched on Ramsdale's moment against Watford. I think the Spurs game highlighted it as well. It's not that we're not playing well for 90 minutes, but it just, for me, it seems like it's up and down. It's like we're flying high, or there's no in between, but it's like we're flying high. And then when we drop, we don't know how to look after our standards, because you've mentioned it, and there has been 1 or 2 periods where these games could have went different ways. Credit where due, they didn't. But how do you think our game management has been developing since we last spoke? Because for me, I don't think it's developed to the level I would. I love Smith Rowe and Lokonga, for example, but the middle of the park, they're getting tired and losing the ball in silly areas. And then obviously I love Saka, but I think Saka's one of the worst candidates when it comes to maintaining high standards as you get tired. And I can't lie, you couple that in with, for me, Arteta's kind of delaying with the subs and seeing out the game. End of the day, we got the job done. We're still unbeaten. I can't say these things are the wrong ones, but it just feels like it's a ticking time bomb and it's going to go the flip side.
Bro, we're marinating an inexperienced manager and inexperienced players together. So you're gonna have
teething problems, isn't it?
And you're gonna have teething problems within games or during games. So for me, again, like you said, I agree with you in terms of in game management hasn't been the best at times, and certain decision making from players are not the best. But again, like I said, they're young players. They're gonna make mistakes.
They're gonna have this.
The what? Gabriel's what, 24, 23?
Yeah, Gabriel, they all got their mistakes in them.
They're gonna make the mistakes, you know what I mean? So we've seen experienced players make mistakes, so let alone these players that, haven't been playing for many years. So they're gonna make mistakes, and I think we should be aware of, scenarios like that happening. But let's try and eradicate those mistakes as much as we can, and capitalize on the positive things and try and manage the games as much as we can. But we need the senior players like Aubameyang. He's got to tuck in that penalty.
Listen, save the Watford one, Carl. I'm specifically want to get your thoughts. Just allow him for a sec.
I hear you, but no, it's just, like at that level, at elite level, it's the margins. Do you know what I mean? So like you said, it could have been if King tucked that in or squared it. Do you know what I mean? So it could have been a whole different game. And then how would Ramsdale's reaction be like? Do you know what I mean? Would it affect his game? Like,
how do we go back from there? Yeah.
So again, it's these little margins that we must manage. And Arteta, he has to be on top of it. But again, he's still learning as well. Do you know what I mean? You got to remember, this is his first job. So it's we're in a place where people are learning on the job. A lot of people are learning on the job. Like, even if we talk about the owners, like Josh Kroenke as well.
I saved that, but go on, save that. I got that in the time.
There's a lot that's gone on. And the gaffer said, I've only got 45 today, so I've got to be effective. Do you know what I mean?
This guy. Hey, you're killing me. You threw me off what I was going to ask you. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. So obviously now, do you think like Arteta's proven people wrong? Do you think there's, it's still the jury's still out? Because you kind of alluded to it, and I share the same way. It's Christmas. I personally, my opinion is credit where it's due. I don't think in life you can be vocal in condemning and slow with praising. I think start of the season without the excuses that are legitimate, he deserved a lot of the music. Right now, the jury's still out, but everything, I'm seeing stuff in it. I'm seeing better man management. I'm seeing an attempt to manage the game better. I'm seeing clarity over the team. I'm seeing a bit of consistency. When there is 1-2 injuries, fair enough, it's Watford and Norwich, but Maitland's come in and done a thing, and we had the Leeds game. So where are you at with Arteta now? And I'd say on top of that, at this moment in time, what's the most positive thing beyond the obvious that you see looking at your team, or something that gives you confidence?
Do you know what? I've always said, in terms of Arteta, whether he stays with us or he moves on, I do believe he's going to have a successful managerial career.
Yeah,
you can see the element of he loves football. You know what I mean? And you've heard like past players talk about his leadership skills and the way he's detailed in terms of the game and the way he dissects the game. So
yeah,
in terms of that, I do believe he's going to have a successful career. Whether it's with us, like I said, I'm not too sure. But saying that, I've seen a change in terms of the mentality of the players that he's brought in. These are young players. They have a point to prove as well. So does Arteta.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like we're all in the same boat. Let's work together. Let's see what we can get out of this. So I feel in terms of Arteta, there has been growth. Maybe in terms of, I guess, the new personnel that's come in, that there isn't that much of the dead wood that was there before. So
yeah,
that toxic mentality isn't there. So for him, it's probably a little bit easier to implement his philosophy with these players. But I think in terms of the positive stuff, I think we're creating a little bit more chances now. So the likes of Smith Rowe now is starting to make those runs into the box, which previously he didn't. His finishing's got a little bit better as well, to be fair. So there's been individual improvements. Again, we're seeing similar traits to when he first came in, where the likes of Maitland-Niles got his call up with the England squad. Do you know what I mean? So we're seeing individual developments, and it has to come down to the manager and the coaching staff as well. Why these are getting selected. So Smith
even set pieces are looking good nowadays. We're actually looking like we could take one, and there's a meaning behind it, bro. For me,
yeah. And even to be fair, even our back four looks a little bit more solid as well. Going into
starting to like defending.
Yeah, they're starting to like defending, and now we're starting to see a team that, for instance, for me, your back four must stay the same. If you have injuries, of course, you have to adapt. But
9 times out of 10, same. Yeah, I agree. Stability.
Apart from Tierney obviously being injured, he'll probably be in that back four as well. So when I'm seeing Ben White, Gabriel, Tomiyasu, and Tavares is stepping in now as well, I feel a little bit more assured. But I know, again, these are young players. They're going to make mistakes.
Still, that's that thing in the back of your mind that they can still make a mistake. There are problems and teething issues. I agree with you. And that's the thing. And that's why I want Arteta to make them learn from it, because I feel it's fantastic to be an Arsenal fan now. Everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet. It's positive and things like that. But, I think I speak for you as well. Arsenal definitely aren't a team where it's not going to be a winning thing every week. We are going to lose games. We are going to drop points. So I think when you continue to show what the team's about and your words kind of reflect the team, it allows fans to just not give you an excuse, but kind of just give you a bit of a crutch and get behind it and support it. You mentioned Tavares there. What do you make of Tavares? Because I personally feel I haven't learned a lot about you defensively. I feel the jury's still out, but I do like him. I do like he's a bit of a madman. He's a bit of a, you have 10 players that understand something tactically, and I'm not insulting his intelligence, but he will go against the grain. I think the jury's still out, but he's done very well. So where are you at with him versus Tierney and the problem that creates? And, looking at a tiny bit ahead of Liverpool, if Tierney's fit, do you play him or do you stay with Tavares?
No, I'll stick with Tavares. I think that game for Tierney will be too soon for him, especially coming up against, for me right now, best player in the world, Salah. You don't want that. As soon as you come back from injury, the first team that you're back and you're playing against Salah.
Might get a hamstring knock or something, but playing against Salah is peak.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I'll stick with Tavares. And I feel, again, sounding like a broken record, but I feel for him, he's still got a lot more learning to do. He's young. He's never played at this level in terms of Premier League and the stature of club like Arsenal. So he's going to make mistakes. There is times he gets in a good position in the final third and he's erratic.
He plays like a fullback in the final third. I do it as well. He's head loss. You might not be there again. You just have a dig. I can't see you. I can't pass it. I didn't see my
so he's got to improve in that department. Defensively, again, he's going to need protection against Salah.
Mad protection
when we play against Liverpool. So whether that's one of the centre midfielders dropping in to support him and making sure we got cover from Gabriel as well. So we have to lock in
the wide man as well.
Then you got Mane on the other side as well. But yeah, no, going back to Tavares, I think he's got potential, but as a long-term sort of threat for Tierney, I think I've heard a lot of fans talk about Tierney being our captain, so I can't see him, pushing him that much. More so cover for the moment. But so far so good. But again, we've played against teams that we should be beating. Do you know what I mean? We should be getting a result at home against Palace and and you know,
Villa and
beating
these things.
Villa and all these teams and Norwich's and Watford. So
I give him credit for Leicester away, card. That was I was looking at it. That's the first real test for me. I'll say, you know what, fair play, because it was long.
Leicester haven't been the same Leicester as well.
That's to say, that's true as well.
So it hasn't been the Leicester that we've seen for years. They've been very inconsistent this season. Again, they've brought in new personnel, so for them it's about gelling within the squad. But again, fair dues to Arteta. He got the result there. But the Liverpool game, I've heard a lot of people say, you know, it's a free hit game. But for me,
spit out where you at with that free hit and the Liverpool game. Obviously, we'll talk. I'll get you on and talk about it when it's here. But where you at? Obviously, a week or two away from that, where we've got less emotionally tied thoughts. What was you gonna say, man? I cut you off.
Yeah, I was gonna say in terms of the game, of course, Liverpool are in a different pedestal to us at the moment, which I'm not oblivious to. However, we shouldn't be going there just thinking, okay,
attitude, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not the attitude that we should be having. Do you know what I mean? We should be going and thinking, all right, can we try and get a result? If we don't, we don't. But let's aim to go there and get a result. And I know a lot of fans probably don't mean as in like we're just gonna go there and have a good time, and if we win, we win. But again, it's that mentality that we're trying to embed to these players, no matter where we're going.
There's a level of performance, and I think Ainsley even spoke about that as well. Really,
100%. So. You know, players like Aubameyang and Lacazette, I know they don't want to go to Liverpool thinking this is a free hit for us. They're going to try and want to get a result. And if we're trying to progress, we need to instill that winning mentality no matter where we go. Do you know what I mean? So for me, I think we should go into it not with fear. Again, like I said, I'm not oblivious of the quality that Liverpool have. We've had problems over there numerous of times. You know what I mean? But again, we've also gone there.
And done stuff at times.
We've done stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
I mean, where I'm at with the Liverpool game, I'm like you. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, if we get smacked up, we get smacked up. But it's the way you go out and do it. If you lose to a team where you've pushed them to their maximum, you know, you said Mo Salah's world class and the best player ever at this moment in time. I agree with him being the best in the world at this moment. Let us see why, you know, because if he does Mo Salah stuff, I can't ask Tierney or Tavares. It is what it is. You held the L. What I don't like is what we've typically done is like, okay, last season we might have lost 5-0. This time we lost 4-0. So it's all right. Or it's like we were sloppy for the first 10. The other 80 we was good. I don't really want that. And I look at the Brighton and West Ham games. That gives you a bit of encouragement if you listen to your manager, if you believe, if you try and match them. Now, obviously, you can't look too much at that because we're going to have a Liverpool side that's out for vengeance. They're fighting for the league title. They've dropped. Fair play. West Ham are performing, but Klopp would probably say, considering that was a winning position, Brighton at home, that's stupid points. So we're going to have a resurgent team, and everyone knows about Anfield and the atmosphere and the rest of it. And, you know, would you say it's a true test for us against Liverpool? Because I agree and disagree. I agree in a sense of, as we're agreeing, it's a big test. You can, with respect to the current Leicester side and the current Villa side, and even the current Spurs side at the time, we smacked them up. You play Liverpool, who saying that they're coming into this where they've dropped points in 2 games. I think it is, but I think it isn't in that. I haven't seen us beat Liverpool too many times, but I've seen us have handful of results. I need to see it over the 38 games. So that's why I revert back to what you said earlier about May. You know, it doesn't matter whatever story we try singing in November. It's what we're saying next summer, really, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, bro. Like, do you know what? When I saw Liverpool get beaten by West Ham, I was thinking, we're gonna get the wrong end of the stick with this one, boy.
We're gonna get vexed. They're gonna be vexed.
They're gonna be vexed. They're gonna come into this game thinking, you know what? This, out of all the teams, they're probably thinking, all right, cool, it's Arsenal. We know what Arsenal, their mentality is like. When
they move to them, they're soft in that.
Yeah, they're soft. So again, this is the mentality that we need to instill with these new players. You know, showing them this is not the same old Arsenal that you guys have been used to. It's a different mentality now that you're playing against. So. Yeah, for me, Liverpool, I think they're going to come and cause some damage. But again, coming off the international break, there's always, you just don't know because fatigue. But also for me, we're in a good momentum. I think the worst time to play Liverpool now is after international break, where some of the players of Liverpool maybe have gone away, recharged, and come back refreshed again. And some of them might have come back fatigued, but a lot of players might have gone away with their international duties and kind of forgot about their club sort of responsibilities and come back a little bit more refreshed. So I would have preferred to play them in the momentum that we're in.
Get it done, innit? Get out of the way.
Yeah. just getting done. So I would have hoped it was this, this weekend and see where we're at. But we're just gonna have to, again, we're gonna have to face these challenges throughout the season. So just how do you adapt? How do you change that mentality that we're kind of used to seeing from Arsenal? And yeah, man, hoping, but again, I'm not too sure, bro. I'm not too sure.
Hope for the best, expect the worst is what they say. But you said it there. It's like there's mentality. I think there's a lot to come. I think, yeah, there's been injuries and, Partey's picked up a groin knock, Tierney's got a knock, people stepped up. But I think there's a lot of this season. I still think Arsenal need a lot of variables. We are playing once a game once a week, this season. We've been all right in terms of injuries, with the AFCON and losing players and the fixture pile up. I do think there's a lot to be said. We was on the topic of Liverpool just before we get into Arsenal, Watford. Or reviewing that game. What do you where are you at with the lineup? Like I said, we'll go over this when we get nearer the time. But at this moment in time, international break, do you think Arteta will change the lineup against Liverpool? Not only that, would you change the lineup with Liverpool? There's a lot of talk of going free at the back, and some man are saying let's just go and fight and do what we're doing and try offer a thing. Where are you at with that?
I think personally, I would stick with it in terms of course, in terms of your approach to the game will be different, but your lineup that the lineup that he's had these past couple of games, they've been getting the results. So why change it? Why why mess around or tinker it around when we've been getting results? But yeah, I think it all depends on, again, in terms of the players once they come back from international duties, where they at. Is there any injuries? So he might be forced to change it depending on personnel. Would I go free at the back? I don't think I would, to be honest with you. Again, it's like, if we do that, if we're going to change the whole system, then again, that it goes back to the mentality. It just shows that we're inferior of the opposition team now. Do you know what I mean? Again, like I said, it depends on how we approach the game. Are we going to be reserved and try and catch them on a counter attack, or are we going to take the game to them? But yeah, it's a hard one. But yeah, going back to that question, I wouldn't change the lineup. I wouldn't change the lineup. I'll stick to the line. I think Lacazette's done well in that 10 as well, to be honest with you. And I think against Liverpool, you've seen what West Ham did.
You need that. He even did it at the Emirates was it last year or the year before? Him and Nelson scored. They capitalized on mistakes from Van Dijk and Alisson.
So, Liverpool, especially the defense, they're not used to teams pressing them. They're not used to
high line as well.
Time at the back. So if we can use that same approach in terms of pressing and using Lacazette's energy and winning the ball as fast as we can higher up the pitch and try and release Aubameyang, then I think that's a way for us to kind of approach the game using our two holding midfielders as well, whether that'll be Partey and Lokonga or Partey and Maitland-Niles, which he's done well against Watford, but again, this is a different pedigree now that we're facing. So again, it comes.
He has scored at Anfield. He might be a good omen.
So again, it's for Arteta to kind of manage it and understand. History plays a big part in these games as well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like, again, going back to the question, I'll stick to the same, but maybe the approach will be different in terms of facing Liverpool, considering playing against Watford at home.
Quality players as well in comparison to Watford. You said it.
100%.
I think with me, I'm with you. I can't lie. I'm more entertaining to hearing a back three, but it's how we play a back three. I think our back three is a bit too defeative. I agree with the main point you said in that. Obviously, we've had international break. Not Arteta's not with everybody, so how these boys have played three at the back, but in terms of Liverpool, there isn't too much training. Without sounding disrespectful to our players, I don't think the IQ is the highest. So what I mean by that is you can't go from playing a 4 to in one of the biggest game of the calendar so far now to just switching it to a 3. I'm pretty sure you've seen it at times. We'll do a 4 and then a 3, and then we'll still look like we're trying to play the same formation. So the IQ of the player, the average squad age, I'm not too sure. I would want to do it because I want to keep 2v1s. I think Tierney's going to struggle against Salah. I think Tavares is going to struggle against Salah. So I think we could double up on that. But I agree with you in that. Why? Obviously, if we go and lose, then it's something different. But it's working. People are playing well. That you finally found the keyword balance. why fix it? I know Arteta might. The thing with me with Arteta is what's he going to do with personnel? Is he going to take Lacazette out? Is he going to bring Odegaard in, which I don't currently think is the best thing, really and truly. I think the only thing that deserves some sort of talking point of is Tierney half fit, then okay, him and Tavares, it goes neck and neck, it goes down to the wire and things. But I personally wouldn't change anything. Would you start Ainsley Maitland-Niles? And yeah, let's get on to the Watford game. What did you make of Ainsley's performance? Because like you said, with respect, it's Watford, but you know, people are injured. You stepped up. You've given Arteta, quote unquote, a headache, or showing him that you deserve some minutes, especially going into January where Partey and El Nene are not here. I don't know if we're signing a midfielder, and it does. Quite frankly, it is quite bleak the lack of midfield options we have.
Yeah, no, I think with Maitland-Niles, he's given Arteta a headache, just like he said, because he's been screaming that he wants to play centre mid
and typing on social media. Yeah,
on social media, he's doing the most. You know what I mean? Just to get heard. So
oh man,
for him, it's a strange one, because when Arteta came in, it looked like he was Arteta's one of Arteta's main players.
Yeah, formality in it. You're gonna play. You're gonna get, but you're gonna play football. Yeah.
So it was a bit strange in terms of, again, him being dropped out, and then he got called up to the England squad, like I said. So he wasn't a rise, but yeah, I think, you know, he wants to play centre mid against Watford. Like a lot of people said, man of the match performance. So I feel like he does deserve a shot against a big club. Let's see how you do against Liverpool. You know what I mean? See how you really cope against that sort of opposition in terms of playing in your favourite position as well. So I would start him, to be honest with you. I would start him. What's the situation on Partey? Is he back? Or
I mean, it's a tight groin, in it. I don't know if he's going off to Ghana. You know, based on how we heard about it, I don't know if it happened on the eve of the game, but I'd be inclined to believe it's more serious than we're told. So I don't know, man. I'd like to think over the international break, him and Tierney, they're rested up and they're ready to go against Liverpool. But as you know yourself, coach, it's, when it comes to the groins and the tight groins, you never really know. And for Partey, for me, yeah, like if for me, Partey is one of them. Like he's, you know, some man, they might have a groin injury. They're like 80% fit, they can play them. I hear it with Partey, but he's one of them. Don't play him unless he's fully fit, because let's lose a battle against Liverpool. Let's not lose a war, because especially with the players of African descent that are obviously playing in January, we need to keep them fit up until a point. You know, there's no point them being hurt where they can't help us. At least help us to January. You know, that goes for him, El Nene, Pepe. I'm probably missing out one more, Bamian, and then we move from it. And I think it's a blow. Obviously, it's a bitter blow, because when you look at Liverpool, the midfield as well as the strike, you know, there's that midfield can, if they can pick you apart, as you saw against West Ham. If you can strike on the transition to go with a high line, you can present some issues to them. But the key word is belief. But what did you make of the Watford game? Many people thought going into it would probably score a few goals, rock up there, forgetting that, you know, they've got Ranieri, he hasn't beat us, you know, they're trying to stay in the league. There's a big amount of pressure on them. So what was your feeling going into the Watford game? Obviously it's a delight because we got a bit of insurance going into Liverpool.
Yeah, I think again, going back to what you just said in terms of we expected, you know, a little bit more in terms of goals, and we should have had more goals as well. To be honest with you, was a bit more ruthless and more effective in the final third. Ranieri, obviously, again, he's come in and like you said, they're fighting for their life. So it wasn't going to be the easiest of games, but yeah, I think overall we got the job done. It wasn't the most convincing game, but at the same time, Watford didn't really cause as much of a threat like that. So I think overall, yeah, it was a boring game, really, to be honest with you, to watch.
yeah, low key affair.
Do you know what I mean? So, but as an Arsenal fan, the main thing it doesn't matter how we're winning at the moment. It's can we get 3 points on the board and see us going up the table, man. But overall, I think majority of players, they've done what they needed to do. It was nice to see the likes of Maitland-Niles come in, step up and give a performance. Ben White had a really, really good game as well.
Really good game.
But again, going back to it, sound like a broken record. No disrespect to these teams, but we should be beating them. We should be cruising past them. Or
you should look good in these games. Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? So it's the bigger games. It's the games that, you know, matter. Like, how do we react to these games now? So now coming up, Liverpool, like if we win, we could go above them.
It's a good look. It's a big vote of confidence, man. Winning at Anfield.
That's a different momentum now. Now that's giving a different sort of confidence and galvanize the team as well. So yeah, I feel the Watford games and these games we should be doing what we've been doing anyway, to be fair, and bringing back players like Odegaard, who's, you know, maybe his confidence is not the same as it
last
first
3 games dropped off a bit.
do
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Aubameyang stealing his goal ain't gonna help
yeah,
him
man,
either. Like,
you gotta let, do you know what I mean? Like Aubameyang, he's just eager. He's thinking, I missed a penalty. I need a goal.
yeah,
Do you know what I
chasing
mean?
it
But
too much there, man.
too much. So let the man get his goal, man. But yeah, no, the team's doing well at the moment. I'm not gonna try and sound negative or anything like that. At the moment, we're doing well. Let's enjoy these wins, because we're gonna get moments where people are gonna start losing their hair and do you know what I mean? Grey
We
hair.
already have that, Paige. Do you remember
So,
the language started to change around the Brighton and Palace games, even by the journalists, and then it's flipped back. And you said something great there. You know, you've got Anfield. As much as I'm loving the run, I'm clearly loving what we're doing in comparison to the start of the year. I know United are not where United need to be, but we've got Anfield, Old Trafford, Goodison Park. You know, still got to go St Mary's. Fair enough. We've gone away to Leicester and Burnley, 2 games where it's might not be the biggest, but they're kind of shaky, and we've done well. So there's a lot of big tests. Like, mathematically, there's still a lot of points on the board, and narratives have been changed. We're going from potentially title challenge now. If you look at it mathematically, we was getting relegated before that. So again, it depends. For me, I hope the boys don't really look at the table too much, because it's going to fluctuate. You know, I was in particularly impressed with the Leicester game, because that was an early kickoff. You know exactly where you stand before that game. You're curtain raising the weekend. You know exactly where you stand after it. So I think we need to go into games like that. And many teams are going to be looking at us this week, well, you know what I mean, against Liverpool, and saying, okay, if we win our game, Liverpool might do us a favor. But if we can complicate things, we might be able to do something in that regards, and it's a squad game. Where you at with Lacazette? Would you give him a new deal now? I'm going to ask you that in every episode and see if anything changes.
Do you know what? I do that. I do like Laka, but I think for us to move forward and, like I said, have that change of mentality, we need to bring in new personnel. I wouldn't give him that new contract, to be honest with you. I think he's done the most that he can for the club. He hasn't. I wouldn't say he's been a bad player for us. I think he's had patches of brilliance, and there's been moments where he hasn't been the best. But overall, as an Arsenal player, I would say he's had a successful time, and he's done the best that he could. But going forward, I think we need change, man. We need change. So that, like the likes of Lacazette, thank you. But again, it's time to move on and bring someone else. Can we bring in another young player who's got potential,
with a similar skill set, but to another level?
Do you know what I mean? That will enhance us. So yeah, man. No, Laka's my guy. I don't want him. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to make him look bad or anything like that. But yeah, no, he's done well, man. He's done well.
You're right there, man. I mean, it's just there's no time for sentiment. Obviously, Josh Kroenke, man. I know you've seen the interview. I know you've offered your thoughts. Yeah, man. Let me know how you're feeling. Where are you at with all of that? Where was you at, man? Because for me, a lot of over promising, under delivering. I'd rather let's just do the job and then see. It seems like a bit of I don't want to make it like that, but it's very Americanish. It's very much biggest and baddest and all of this. And it's like it's not that there isn't context, because he was saying things with context, but it's almost like, not that you're living in La La Land, but it's like, all right, cool. Away from the buzzwords, and we look at the practicalities now. What are you actually saying? Like what are you actually saying? Is not really making sense. Where are you at with it, though?
He was looking like some Marvel villain, bro. Like,
I mean, he's getting all sorts on the net. He looks like this. He looks like that. I can't remember the last one they said he looked like. Even got Mr. Bean, all sorts.
Oh, Mr. Bean! I ain't heard that one.
Yeah, people are doing him dirty on the socials, bro. I can't lie to you.
But again, for him, it's I think he's well trained, isn't it? He's well trained. He knows what works. He knows how to handle the media. He knows how to handle a conversation. So, like for me personally, I think he said the right things that he could have said. But again, what's the practicalities in terms of what he said? However, saying that as well, they have spent.
Yeah, you can't get away with that. The Kroenkes have spent. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe it's been spent recklessly, and they could have people. They could review the processes, but they have spent and put money in. I can't lie.
They have spent, and in terms and if we're talking about management at the moment in terms of the club, okay, it has been a bit of a shambles. Now, before we got to this point, could they have done something better in terms of spending money wisely? Using
100%.
like the transfer policies,
being a bit more hands-on and proactive.
could he have been more proactive? I feel like it's an emergency stop now, so he has to be involved. He has to kind of shake things up a little bit and show his face a little bit more, considering that they've been non-existent. He showed that he played football in the past, so he said
and
that
basketball and that, yeah.
And basketball, he played right wing apparently, so his back post balls are getting clipped in at the back and whatnot. So
I don't know if I believe that, but fair play. Why didn't you say that before?
Yeah, so it's kind of like you're saying these things when it's like it's kind of like I said, it's an emergency now. Now you have to kind of win the fans back when this should have been done from the beginning. You should have come out
and face from the jump.
You know, like, I love football. I've had experience of X, Y, and Z. I grew up watching whoever. Do you know what I mean? So that would have brought a connection with a club. So, and again, to be fair, he might have been young in his journey in terms of business as well. So you got to remember, he's a trust fund baby. Like he's not.
That sets me up for a question. Yeah, let me ask you this. All right, you just said he's a trust fund baby, right? I agree with you 100%. But let me play devil's advocate. Fair enough. On one hand, we could take what a man is saying at face value. That's actually what he means. He means all of that. But to play devil's advocate, do you think that obviously this is probably a family heirloom? Stan isn't going to be as hands-on, and me as a younger man, I understand whether it's NFL, football, or whatever. Do I need to just keep the fans on side a bit and not play the game with the language? Because I was really with a fine tune looking through his language, and he mentioned brand about twice, and that kind of rubbed me up the wrong way. So that's one. And also, do you think it's smart of him, because I don't believe in coincidence, especially with these lot, again, none of these comments, and it might not have been the right time if he said this at the start of the year, but now 10 games unbeaten, however much in the league, we're doing all right. There's less pressure on Arteta. Now he's come out with that. Like, do you think it's sincere? Is there a bit deeper than that? I don't know with these guys. As you said, he's a trust fund baby, and his name's Kroenke. End of the day.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? This is the thing. Like you said, in America, they double excel everything. Everything's about branding. Do you know what I mean? Everything's about sponsorships and trying to make it the biggest.
Mad thing, yeah.
They've got a big brand in Arsenal, and they know that. Do you know what I mean? So
100.
Again, for him, it's like you could see that the Stan has passed on the legacy and said, you know what, you take over. You're young.
Take the mantelpiece, yeah.
Yeah, take the mantelpiece and run with it. So and he said it as well. They're trying to emulate the sort of structure and the blueprint that they're doing in America.
Previously, yeah,
bringing young players apparently and things like that. So, but yeah, I think with him, I feel like it's business at the end of the day, bro. These are businessmen. So
yeah,
if the numbers are not making sense, they would have already gone away and sold the club, but. He said they're not selling because
what did you make of them comments as well? How he said we've been having offers from everyone and we've not sold and we only got this since 2018. Is it a thing where we have to allow it now? I'm not, protests have kind of stopped and stuff like that. Is it a thing where this is it now with the Kroenkes? We give them a chance because again, can we afford to give them a chance? Because we believe in equality. At the start of the season, we got onto them. We've been getting onto them. As you said at the start, the season hasn't finished, so there's a lot of question marks. But as you know, we just want the club to move serious. If you spent money, we see why you spent money, and the manager's doing his thing. Is there anything to complain about or to keep complaining about?
Well, basing it on the season in terms of money spent, we can't complain because the money's been spent. Whether that's been spent on the right personnel or not, we're gonna have to wait and see. But in terms of long term, I base a man on his principles and his past actions. Like if it's a reoccurring thing, then I've got to base it on that. Do you know what I mean? If he's done something in the past and you can see there's a change, then cool. But at the moment, there seems to be a change because of the money that's being spent. But whether that's being spent because of now they're panicking a little bit, I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know how to kind of take it. We haven't really been exposed to their thinking or the process of the club. It's only of recent, since the protests have come out, that they're starting to engage a little bit more with the fans and show what they're about. So
facts.
Well, I think we got to give it this season, see where it's at. But again, you know how it's going to be. As soon as there's a run of games of losses, and
switch.
And it's going to be straight, get Kroenke's out. So, why go through all of that when we can just say, you know what, you've done what you've done. Let's move on to another owner, someone that really cares about the club. So for me, it doesn't seem that they love the club as such. It's more so a business opportunity for them to grow their empire. But again, based on this season, they've spent money.
You can't disagree with that. And I mean, we've spoken about the Kroenkes and Arteta, but even if it's an even kind of more difficult one to quantify, you look at Edu now. Edu, when you're bringing in Cedric and Willian and all these things to go with Arteta, I have to attack you from a point of view, because they're never going to work out. Credit where due. If Arteta has told you he's wanted these players, and with your team you've helped negotiate Brighton down for Ben White, whether we've got fleeced or not, you've got a good deal for Ramsdale because they were playing hardball. You've signed somebody. Smith Rowe signed a new deal, Balogun signed a new deal, a couple other players have come in, and fundamentally you're seeing what's going on. Do you need to give Edu credit? Because on one hand, if it went poorly, I was going to look at the manager because you're selecting these players, but the technical director is sanctioning it. But then when I read articles out of The Athletic, bro, regarding Edu, it says things like, maybe this guy would have worked, but he wanted Neto. Ramsdale was wanted by Arteta. Now, thankfully, Arteta won that. He wanted Emerson Royal. Arteta wanted Tomiyasu. Now, under Conte, Emerson Royal might improve, but right now it's looking like that would have been an L. So I'm looking at it, it's like, all right, cool. What's kind of going on there? How do I quantify if you're doing a quote-unquote good job? Because you got slated in the summer. He did say wait until our players are fit, which is why I think Arteta has even longer in this job, because he's getting a good relationship with Kroenke now. And, we've only judging these players since they're fit and then the subsequent games. So it's like, I'd say match week, maybe 5, 6 is when we saw everybody fit. So that's probably when the season has started internally at Arsenal.
No, I agree, bro. I think it looked like Edu was doing favors for his boys.
Brown envelope stuff. I can't lie.
It looked like he was just doing favors for his boys, bringing in Willian, giving Luis another year, and looking at
the right things, man.
Looking at I say that again.
Just not doing the right things for the club, bro.
Yeah. So it looked like it, but again, I think Arteta's IQ, like I said from the beginning, in terms of football, it is there. I do think he has got an eye in terms of players and seen potential of players, and he's been around like one of the best ever, bro. So you can't be around that and that's not just Pep. He's been around Wenger. He's learned a lot around Wenger.
Rubbed shoulders with a lot of guys.
He grew up in the Barcelona system, so his schooling of football is top notch. So you can never question that. Again, this is a new environment for him to kind of learn in terms of managing, which is completely different to nurturing players and developing players. We're going to have to wait and see, man. We're going to have to wait and see. But I feel like at the moment, it looks like it's working.
I mean, you can't, at the moment, like you said, it looks like it's working. Obviously, last couple questions, literally, yeah. What do you make of our top 4 to 6 chances now? And how do you feel about Smith Rowe and Gabriel for Brazil and England, respectively, being called up for the national teams?
For that latter question, again, it goes down to the management of the coaches and Arteta as well. When players get called up for the national teams for the first time, you got to give praise to the coaches as well. As much as the players put in a shift and work hard, but there has to be an element of support from the coaches and the manager to get them to that level. So, brilliant news to hear the likes of Gabriel. Again, that's going to give him that experience as a centre-back going there.
Colombia and Argentina, potentially to make a debut against.
Big countries that you're playing against. So, and big players that you're going to be playing against. So it's only going to help him as well. Smith Rowe, same thing, being around the setup, being around top players, learning from other players as well that he might not see on a daily basis. So it might give him a different perspective. So yeah, good news to see, our players giving those opportunities and learning as well. Hopefully just come back fit. That's the only thing.
Bro.
And all this learning stuff, it's all good, but if you're going to come back and you're injured, it's only going to hinder us. Do you know what I mean?
Saka, Ramsdale, Smith Rowe come back in one piece, and that goes for the other players away for the other countries as well. I'm scared in that regards, bro. We don't need that.
Do you know what I mean? So, and what was the first one, bro?
Last one was our top 4 to 6 chances.
4, yeah. Bro, again, man, I don't want to. It's too early. It's too early. It's too early.
Fact.
However,
That's why I wanted to ask you.
we should be getting at least top 6 though, in terms of us playing once a week with the squad that we have. We should be getting at least top 6. We're not playing Europe or anything like that. We've got teams like West Ham that are playing in Europe and they're still up there.
Still banding up everyone, yeah.
They don't have the strength and depth that we have. Do you know what I mean? Like they've got a good starting 11. They've got 1 or 2 players that can come off the bench, but as soon as Antonio gets injured, it's long for them.
That's it. Where would so what? Considering where we're at now, and obviously many variables can be thrown up, but we sit 5th. What would be a success? What would be a failure beyond the obvious? We know finishing 8th again's a failure, but you know, I think everybody's in a mini league. What us, United have pulled themselves into it now. Spurs with Conte, Leicester, West Ham, probably Everton even, probably missing out 1-2 sides. But you know, 4th, 5th, 6th, it's like a 100-meter sprint. You get the gold, silver, and the bronze. What would you say is a success and failure, really and truly? You know, obviously top 4 I'd probably be an overachievement. Yeah. Where would you be if what would your thoughts regarding that be?
I would say success is getting Europe, going back into Europe. I think that's what we can ask for from
minimum,
this.
Yeah.
The minimum is getting Europe, especially with this young side that we've got. It's a new team as well. Failure will be not getting Europe, bro. Not getting Europe, not winning a trophy, even if like a FA Cup, which we've had success over the years, even a League Cup. Do you know what I mean? So
I would love silverware and a top place finish, man.
Silverware and a top 6, like getting Europe basically. Then I'd say that's successful. If we don't do none of that, then it's a failure. Do you know what I mean? It's another year of rebuilding. You know, will it take us back another year with recruitment? Like what players?
Probably will, because Kroenke, you know, we just spoke about Kroenke. One thing he said is obviously you get the Champions League, you're pushing higher and punching with better players. One thing I think Kroenke actually said well, or Josh I'm referring to, I remember when he said, can't remember it, but we've got a Europa League, we've got Champions League wages on Europa League budget or something like that. When it comes to finances, I don't doubt that man knows exactly what he's doing. And that's why I'm even more harsh on Arteta, like we used to speak about last year. When it comes to Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe to a degree, Partey, these guys that I describe as the experienced or the present players, I don't really want to have the same conversations regarding them as a Saka and Martinelli. You need to know how you're using these guys, because they're going to set up what we're doing in the future, in my humble opinion. All right, cool. So let's say this happens. Fair enough, we're 5th now, right? Let's just say, as we said, we're in a mini league. The league's mad competitive. Let's just say we keep playing the same way we do. Obviously, we drop points, but we keep this sort of spirits up and we're doing all of this stuff, yeah, and we lose it. Do you keep Arteta? If he comes outside, you know, if he finishes 7th, 8th against them sort of things, and these things are happening, do you keep him, or do you say, all right, you know what, good effort, but the next thing has to happen now?
Yeah, I would have to part, because again, like I said, it's another year of us being behind. Especially if Newcastle stay in the league as well.
Bro, don't remind me.
They're gonna be spending money also. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we're gonna be behind the process. We're gonna have to.
Everyone else gonna buy stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pull in a manager who's got more pedigree and understands, or has more experience as well. Do you know what I mean? So like I said, I don't want to give Arteta too much criticism, because he's still learning as well, and I do feel he's going to have a good career in management. But yeah, going back to that question, what we're going to have. But then again, it's like, who do you bring in after that?
That's the thing, and this is why I think the club. I think all clubs anyway should, from top to bottom, should have succession planning. I think even with Liverpool and City, I think Pep's not going to be there forever, so they need to know who is going to walk in, or the list of targets. The same goes with Liverpool. Klopp's not going to be there forever. Down to obviously clubs where the managerial guys are clearly not doing their job. That's the thing for me in today's day and age. Yeah, you get these larger than life managers, but managers should be ever interchangeable, because surely you need to have philosophy, system, people above it, and whatever. And then you've got a head coach / manager where you're, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the Wenger thing, it's Alex Ferguson thing. You're just really a manager. So can you find people with a similar profile? And as much as I like Arteta and criticize him when he's done wrong, he might become a quality manager, which we both believe. But right now, it ain't that. You shouldn't lose sleep. If he gets sacked, you should be. I don't know if it's Ten Hag. I don't know if it's Gasperini. I don't know who it is, you know, Brendan Rodgers. I don't know, but it should be there. Would you make of this comment? I've been violating Ashty. Apologies. I keep putting it up. He said, well, it's for both of us. Do you think Arsenal need another keeper? And Sam Johnson is available for a free transfer, I think. Do you think he could be the 3rd keeper at Arsenal if possible? I would go as far as to say 2nd, because
I was just like
Leno's leaving, bro.
I was about to say the same thing. forget third. He might have to be our second. Do you know what I mean?
Probably is our second.
So I would go for him. I think he's a good goalkeeper, to be honest with you. I think he can give us that sort of support to Ramsdale. Two English goalkeepers as well. I would bring him in, especially on a free. Can never go wrong. Do you know what I mean? So
in fact, we did with William. So, boy, and Kolasinac. So let's not count. Let's not get excited yet, bro, because our club proves us wrong.
But again, those players came in to make an impact straight away. Whereas with Johnston, like, no disrespect to him, but I wouldn't put him as a number one. I'll definitely have him as a supporting goalkeeper for Ramsdale.
Facts, man. You said it there. Obviously, let them know where they can find you, because I've been telling them to follow you on YouTube. Let me see if I can actually share my screen, because my other screen isn't working, so these lot can actually see what you're about. But yeah, let them know they can find you, the socials, what you're about. You know, if no one ever, if someone hasn't seen you before, what would you say, man? Where is it?
Man. So you can follow me on the gram, Coach Gerald Lami. On YouTube, DG's just pushing it there. Coach Gerald Lami. Just been doing content like podcasts. Been doing, like we said, we're doing the vlogs as well. So giving an insight of going into games. Again, this was something different as well. The Atlanta Falcons.
I like watching these things, man.
So, it was just showing people the different experiences as well. I'm a coach as well, so I'm coaching currently. So yeah, man, just follow the journey. Support.
I probably picked the wrong video because it looks amazing, but I just remember this is the toilet, the North London toilet.
Yeah. But yeah,
this is what.
Yeah, so it's just showing people the different insights, man, to games, and again, it's different games as well. It's not just games. This is
man's like Leighton Orient, Warsaw. You have to love the game to do stuff like this, people.
And yeah, man, and I'm learning on the job as well. So it's good just to hear feedback from everyone, what type of content they want to see, and again, love each and every time to DG for putting me on, and you know what I mean, just sharing the love. So yeah, make sure you guys are subscribing to DG as well. Yeah, make sure you like, subscribing, all of that stuff. So he's been putting the work. I've been saying he's the Kante. He's he puts the work in, guys. Yeah.
Trying to be like you, but I can't lie to you, man. I see you interviewing fucking what's his face, man, Jurgen Klopp. I'm trying to be like that, man. I'm not big time like that yet, man. I'm trying to get them tactics.
No, we need the lights. We need DG to be pushed out there as well, man. Because bro, you've been pushing content. Like I wake up in the morning, straight away I'm like, rah, this guy put another video up. Like it's non-stop. It's non-stop. So you gotta love it, man.
Yeah, man, like you said, you got to. And obviously, people, like I said, make sure you're following Coach, because again, I'm going to go watch this in a sec. I'm going to be live at 11:30 on YouTube, but in the meantime, I'm going to go and watch this, because especially for those of you that not necessarily are in England and things like that, I know you like watch-alongs and things and seeing stadiums. I mean, looking at the Emirates is fine, but this is football at its deeper level. And like I said, man, he's got a bag of content. It's a shame YouTube's a setup, but yeah, we're going to all get there. Like you can see, you can actually go and effing watch the North London vlog as well. You know, what other man's been going North London, you know, NFL stuff, Leighton Orient, interviews with people from, you know, whether it's YouTubers, influencers, coaches, bag of golden nuggets there, people. So go and take that in. Look, lovely time lengths as well. So you lot go ahead and make time in your lunch break, before breakfast, on your school runs. Go and do what you need to do. Support Coach Lami. Let's get that to 500 beyond. You can see in his stuff here. He's got the Instas, he's got the Twitters. If you want to reach out for opportunities, you can hit up his LinkedIn if you want. But yeah, man, take him in. All right, take him in. As usual, my dude, it's a pleasure for you being here. Appreciate you giving up your morning. I know you got coaching and them things to do, so let me let you get out of here, people. Man.
Peace.
Take care, man. Let's get out of here.
There's always that active and defenders. I think it's like